Hello, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank you for joining us on What's Your Story? And I'm seeing if we are actually broadcast. Let's see if we really, it might take us a minute to connect. And we'll see how we're doing here. Okay. Shows. Are we really? I'm looking on Facebook to see, and I am on. Okay, here we are. So first of all, I'd like to thank all of you for joining What's Your Story? I've heard so many different answers from asking what's your story, from people telling me about their childhood to listening to their accomplishments. It's like they're reading from their resume. There is no right answer. This show is a fascinating study on people and how they interpret the question's meaning. It's also a great reminder that we each have our own unique journey and story filled with ups and downs, tragedy, triumph, and everything in between. Let us be clear. Everyone has their own unique journey, and what they did or didn't do is theirs to experience. On this show, there is no judgment, no debate, just a period of time in someone's life that they have decided to share and give us the opportunity to listen. I call them courageous, confident, and caring people. People who are not afraid to talk about what they're doing or their ideas to help others. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, I appreciate your support. I just want you all to know that I am broadcasting all the way from Chiang Mai, Thailand. So most of my guests are in the United States, and they will be in other countries as time goes on. So thank you for being patient with technical situations that we've had in the past. I so appreciate it. And our guests today are Victoria Wolf and Richard Ouelette. And let me give you a little bit of their background, and then I'm going to bring them on. After realizing in 2007 that her body didn't like gluten, it was an understatement. She'll tell us about it. Her life went through some interesting changes to accommodate a totally gluten-free lifestyle. Victoria started the Gluten Free Explorer in 2012 with the intent of writing a travel guide to help the gluten-free eat out safely and deliciously. And I interviewed Victoria about 3 years ago about this book. And it was so exciting. It was very exciting that she actually made the effort to find out where people could eat with a gluten-free issue. I feel that my gluten-free journey has taught me so much, not only about how to feed my body and how to cook, but more importantly, it has helped me to discover, well, me, who I am, what I believe, and what my course in life really is. In 2013, Victoria met her partner in the Gluten Free Explorer, Rich. He has a passion for food and wine, and when they met, although he had not been cooking, he'd been cooking, oh gosh, wish he was my brother, since he was 9. He had no experience with gluten-free cooking. Rich has had an open mind, though, and that was all he needed. Rich has completely embraced gluten-free living and is on his own gluten-free journey. He offers a unique perspective that will be helpful to all the spouses, family members, and friends that need to support their gluten-free loved ones. So, with that all being said, let's bring them on. And there they are. Hi, Victoria. Hi, Richard.
Hello. Hi there. Are you sure you were talking about us when you did that intro?
Yes.
I'm like, who is she talking about?
I'm talking about you guys, because you guys really, if you've been cooking since 9 years old, Richard, I mean, I wish you were, like I said, I wish you would have been my brother.
Yeah, part of that was out of Yeah, that was out of necessity mostly.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, okay. So tell me how you guys met.
Well, we met networking. You're familiar with Certus, the Certus network. We met there, and we just boom hit it off. We started talking about food. Boom, that's all it was. We've been together ever since, I think.
Pretty much.
Well,
Food brought us together.
well, it's funny because, you weren't really talking about how joyous food was, especially you, Victoria, because you have gluten-free issues. So it probably was sort of I mean, you have been
Well,
experimenting.
right. Well, at the time that we met, I'd been living gluten free for, I don't know, what was it, 6 years or something like that. And my gluten free journey was really about learning how to cook. And I've always been obsessed with cooking. And I used to watch the Food Network. And before I went gluten free in 2007, I was a vegetarian for 16 years. And so I cooked, but I didn't cook, and I never watched the Food Network because it's all about meat, and I didn't care about meat. And and so then I had been watching the Food Network for years, Top Chef, doing everything I could because I had realized I had a passion for cooking, but never thought it would ever turn into anything because I really didn't think I was very good at it. And then when we met, where we really connected, and we started cooking together. And I'm teaching him about gluten free. He's teaching me about the things that I didn't know, especially meat, because he's a meat guy and he's a butcher, and
Right.
so he basically took the 16-year vegetarian and turned her into this raving meat lover. And I took the wheat lover and turned him into a raging gluten-free lover. So yeah, we kind of shared with each other. And yeah, just getting in the kitchen, and both of us had come from relationships where we weren't really encouraged to go
who we wanted to be and what we wanted to do.
And explore our passions, because our passions weren't rational. And so we really were so excited to get together. I mean, we cooked all the time, and we experimented. And that's one thing we weren't allowed to do in our previous relationships, was experiment too much, especially Rich. Right. He was stick to the recipe and knows about it.
I was kind of on my own kind of food reemergence myself, because at the time that we met, I was networking for financial services, which is what I had gone into at the time.
Right.
Prior to 2007, I was in the food business, and when I moved here to Denver, I'd gotten out of the food business just for a change of pace and gotten into financial services. And really, by the time we had met, I really decided that financial services wasn't for me. So I like to call myself now a recovering financial advisor. And so I was really kind of rediscovering food and rediscovering the Denver food scene and making contacts here. So it kind of everything fell into place at the right time.
Well, too, with a financial background, I mean, that's got to help you in your business now. So it was kind of meant to be, right? I mean,
doesn't hurt. That's for sure.
Yeah. And so, but how, you guys have met later in life, which I agree with. I met my husband later in life. I was 38 at the time, 39. And so, how's it worked for your relationship? I mean, because you work together too. That's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, we spend, I won't say 24/7 together, but it's
pretty close.
Like 23/6.
Right.
But we spend a lot of time together, but we wouldn't have it any other way. And I think what we both learned about meeting someone later in life is you've gone through all those experiences, and at least for both of us, it's interesting. We both did this similarly. Is in our previous relationship, when it was kind of going badly, we both worked on things enough to know what we really wanted and we didn't want in a partner. It wasn't like we were sitting there going, okay, well, once I get out of this relationship, I'm going to find this person who has this, this, and this. No, when we met, we realized that we had done that work, but we didn't even know we had done that work.
Exactly.
And then when we got together, he was everything that I ever imagined a partner could be without really imagining it. And vice versa. And I don't think you get that when you're young. My first marriage, I was 21 when I met my ex-husband, and that's very young. I had lived a lifetime by the time I was 21, but still, I mean, what do you know at 21?
I think one of the biggest things that it taught us too was the ability to let each other be what we wanted to be. Mm-hmm. Now, it just so happens by luck or whatever that we wanted to do the exact same thing, and we ended up starting this business. But if it didn't take that course, if we had decided on alternate paths, we would have been okay with that. And I think that's probably one of the most valuable things our previous relationships taught us is to be accepting and to be open and just, you're at that point in your life where you say, okay, I've done A, B, and C. Now I want to go do D or M or G and to be okay with that. And I think it just kind of worked out that this is, we're both on the same path, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, I like what you said. I like what you said about, coming together over food. But again, if that wouldn't have worked out, you still could accept each other for where you're at. And that's such an important thing in a relationship, like okay, Richard, if you don't want to do Gluten Free Explorer, what do you want to do? Okay, great. I'm all for that,
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So it's just wonderful that it worked out that you both wanted to do the same and you did the work before. I understand that I was married before and divorced, and I'd lived a lifetime by the time I was 21 or 39. And it's like, wow, it's just so nice to be able to be me.
Right.
Gosh,
yeah,
I'm kind of cool.
It's the greatest thing. Yeah. There's parts of me I didn't even know were me existed until I met, and it's a safe place. Well, he wants me to be me, and I want him to be him. There's no there's no shoulds whatsoever. And that, I think that's one of the greatest things when you're older. You definitely are wiser. Not everybody is wiser when they're older. Luckily, we got wise.
Yeah. Well, it's all based, it's all based on our journey, whatever we've experienced that brought you guys together, has been beneficial. And that's what counts, You learn something and now you're in business together. So what made you want to start the Gluten Free Explorer in a whole different avenue, you guys?
Well, it is my fault. That's why I started talking.
It's all your fault.
So when we got together, we made the choice together to have a gluten-free kitchen. So that meant a couple of things for me is I took it as a challenge to kind of make all of my specialties, all of my recipes, all the things I love to cook. Now I have this added expectation of it's got to be gluten-free. And in Victoria's case, it's got to be dairy-free too, or at least cow dairy-free. Goat cheese. So I, to me, that wasn't a hindrance or a pain in the butt, if you will. That was a challenge. I absolutely accepted that challenge and went, okay, we're going to have a gluten-free kitchen as we move forward. And that means I'm taking the challenge of cooking everything that I do or that I like to do as gluten-free. And as we started, and of course, as the non-gluten-free person, I kind of, you kind of assume the worst. It's like, okay, is what I'm going to make really going to taste good? Because you have that doubt in mind.
Right.
And then as we started cooking together, I don't think there was one dish that I converted that we said this is horrible. I mean,
not a single
next
one.
thing I know, I'm making everything I've always made, and it tastes just the same as I've always made it. So the light bulb kind of went off, like, wow, this is great.
Right.
So then I think, Victoria, you can pick it up from here. You said the one thing you missed the most.
Yeah, and then there was pizza. And pizza,
I love
there was
hearing
no.
about this.
Yeah, I loved pizza. And when I went gluten free, and when you go gluten free, you go through. I call it the 3 stages. The first stage is that complete and total mourning and denial and anger, and that's when you start realizing I'm never eating pizza. I'm never going to King Soopers at 4 o'clock to get the French bread and have it completely devoured by the time I get home. I'm never going to have cake. All these things you're not going to have. And it's a little dramatic in the beginning. You do eventually replace some of it, but it never will taste like that tasted. And pizza is the big one. And at the time there were some gluten-free pizza options, naked crust that you could buy and make pizza, and they were okay.
And I think we tried them all.
Yeah, and Rich loved pizza too. I mean, it's almost universal about pizza.
Yeah. What guy doesn't love pizza?
I know.
Exactly.
You got to ask if you're even human if you don't love pizza.
I know, that's right.
So I showed him all the options, and he's like, no,
they were not good.
They suck.
They were
basically they suck.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, they do. And he's like, well, let's make our own. And I'm like, no, I don't bake. It's like, do you realize how many flours and how many ingredients? And he's like, come on. And I'm like, okay.
And as much as we both love
Okay.
cooking,
It's going to
as
take
much
us
as we both love
forever.
cooking, neither one of us were bakers. As much as we
No.
love cooking,
Right.
neither one of us went anywhere near baking.
We were savory cooks, so we a pinch of this, a pinch of that. We didn't. The exactness of baking always scared me
Right.
because we're not exact people. But we thought we'd give it a try, and because what did we have to lose? We really had nothing to lose. And so we started experimenting. We made one. We found some recipes online, and then we would start those, and we go, oh, well, what if we change this? And so, what is it? 6, 8 months later, we had a pretty good pizza crust. So we invited friends over, and all of our friends are not gluten free. They're all gluten eating people. I don't know how that works out, but they are. And everybody just loved it. And we heard, oh, I can't believe this is gluten free. If you didn't tell me, I wouldn't have known. And we're like, wow, I think we have something here. And then we started talking about, well, maybe we should start a business. And if this is so good, we can't keep this to ourselves. Other gluten free people have got to, got to have this. And there really were no good options. And this was 2014. I mean, things have changed a lot between 2014 and 2017 in the marketplace.
Yes.
And,
But it was like 2014.
Yeah.
When I decided to take it to a couple of restaurants and just see what kind of reaction I would get.
Right.
Yeah, and it was a really good reaction. And so we knew we were going to have some customers. So I think the first day we were in our first commercial kitchen was like December 22nd, 2014, right? And we got in there. I've never worked in a restaurant. I mean, he had restaurant experience because he was working for Cisco, and you've had prior restaurants. I never worked in a restaurant, a kitchen, anything. So there was this big, huge mixer. It was a 20-quart mixer. I'm like, oh my God, that's so much bigger than the kitchen made. It was really cool. And we did 24 pizza crusts the first night. I'm like, oh my God, that's so many crusts. Yeah, fast forward a few years later, and we make over 1,000 pizza crusts a week. We have an 80-quart mixer, and that's just pizza. Now we have six products in our line now that we make every week, and it was crazy, but it felt so good. We knew we were in the right place as soon as we started in the kitchen.
And the reaction from restaurants obviously was fantastic. I mean, even we couldn't believe the reaction we were getting from restaurants, and then that led us to go to Whole Foods, natural grocers, kind of the local grocery store scene in the area, and then we luckily in early 2015.
Well, no, it's 2015. In August, we did the Gluten Free Fair, which is an annual thing that the Denver Celiacs put on.
Yes.
And I did it one year when I was writing the book, or starting to write the book, and it was really cool. And I'm like, oh, we got to do that with our products. And then that was, we went there and we had 3 products at the time. We brought a certain amount of product to sample and a certain amount of product to sell. We were sold out of everything in 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it was a 4-hour show, and in 2 hours we were out.
Yeah, we had nothing left. We were selling the stuff we brought to sample.
So that was fall of 2015, and then that's when we took it to natural grocers, and they bought it immediately. And so by January 2016, we were starting to roll out into grocery stores.
Yeah, that was a year ago. A year ago, we were in 9 locations, and now we're pushing 80. And this is the year of reaching outside of Colorado.
I know. That's so fantastic. Wow, that's just fantastic. For people
and our goal this year,
go ahead.
Oh, our goal this year is to get into hopefully about 120 additional locations. We're hoping to get into the Arizona market, the Salt Lake City market, and then try and get down into Texas as well.
Yeah, we need to travel. We got to get out of Colorado.
Yes, traveling is a good thing. But could you tell our audience, because some people might be feeling the effects of eating and not know that there's an issue with the gluten. So can you tell the audience what it feels like, what you were feeling like, Victoria? What made you think, oh my gosh, I got a problem here. I need to change my diet.
Yeah, that is all me. Yeah, it's interesting. I was having a conversation today at the kitchen. The flour company we buy a lot of our flour from. They were delivering, and I was having a conversation with him, and he was telling me about they used to have a delivery driver who ate gluten all his life, and he was moving all these flour bags around delivering, and he kept breaking out, and he figured out after he went to the doctor that he had celiac. And he's like, well, I don't understand how he had celiac. He had no intestinal, distress or anything. And I went through, there's silent celiac, there's gluten attack. I went through all these different, symptoms of celiac that are not, gastrointestinal. And he was like, oh, wow. Poor guy couldn't work there anymore because he was breaking out because of all the flour that he was around. But my symptoms were what you might want to consider classic gluten. They're all gastrointestinal. At least I thought in the beginning. I learned later on that there were additional symptoms, and it's bloating, it's diarrhea, constipation, back and forth. It's generally in 2007 I could not eat anything without feeling so sick in that way, and then I would be so bloated. And I was out networking a lot then, and so I was afraid to eat at a networking event, and because I would get what I used to call the 2 or 3 month pregnant bloat. That's how bloated I would get. And I was like, if I eat something at a networking event, my buttons are gonna pop off my pants. I thought this is not good. I mean, it was that bad. And so I did some research and determined it was probably gluten. I stopped eating gluten, and it all went away. But there's so many symptoms. In my denial phase, about a year later, I tried going back to eating gluten because I just didn't, there were people in my life that didn't believe either. And I did it for about a month, and then I had a personal trainer at the time, and every day I would go, I'm like, God, my joints hurt so bad. And as the month went on, they hurt more and more and more. And joint pain is another, can be another symptom of gluten sensitivity. There's brain fog, migraine. Nowadays, if you just generally feel bad, I'm not saying it's gluten, but it could be gluten, it could be dairy, it could be soy. There are so many things we put in our body that cause us to feel bad. And our bodies they tell us very subtly at first, and we always ignore it because, we know best, or we want to eat this, or we want to eat that. But what happens is the body, it gets louder and louder, like it did with me. And finally, I had to listen. And when we do demos at natural grocers and stores, we hear stories all the time. It's like, I was so sick and I stopped eating this or I stopped eating that and I felt better. So it's really crazy. And I saw a statistic was a couple weeks ago, almost 30% of the U.S. population is choosing a gluten-free diet. That is huge.
I love it. Well, look at our food. I mean, look at our food. There's so much preservatives and things that we don't even know what's in it. And it's all about our gut, right? I mean, whatever we put in our gut is how we're going to feel. I mean, that's really the
absorbed and out to the rest of the body. Yep, exactly.
And one of the biggest things I think we hear now when we do demonstrations at our grocery stores from people is, I just feel better if I stay away from gluten.
Yeah,
it's the big thing is I just feel better.
Yeah, will doctors look at that? Do doctors recognize that, or do they just kind of push it off? I mean, I'm not a fan of doctors.
No, I'm not. They've gotten better about it, and there was a period of time, I think it was 2013 to 2015, where you saw about gluten-free is a fad, gluten sensitivity doesn't exist, and that has since been, there's scientific basis in gluten sensitivity. They still don't know why. You can be sensitive to gluten and not have celiac. And then another good example I like to give is my mom. My mom went her whole life eating whatever she wanted, and it was 2 or 3 years ago. About 2 years ago, she started getting sick all the time, no matter what she ate. She went to the doctor, she got tested, she didn't have celiac, but they diagnosed her with IBS, and her two triggers were dairy and gluten. So there could be a lot of people with IBS and their triggers are dairy or gluten. And I believe that, if you stop eating it and you feel better, that's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know, right?
Doesn't necessarily support that, but I'm not in the medical community and I don't pretend to be. And that's just my opinion. Right. Take it with a grain of salt,
No,
but we hear that.
I agree. Well, I know that's interesting.
Nutritionist. I talked to somebody the other day whose nutritionist suggested that he go on a gluten-free diet as somewhere to start. And so it's really coming around. Doctors, nutritionists, homeopaths, they're all starting with the food product to diagnose what's wrong with people.
And you're on top of the food chain, which I love. I love that you guys are supporting those people that need it the most and maybe don't know it yet. It just takes someone like you, Victoria, and you, Richard, as a supporter to say, this is what, I can't eat this food. I got to eat something else. And so what are we going to do about it? And how can I help other people, which is always a great thing. You know how I feel about that. It's just always a great thing.
And our biggest goal is to be able to provide that and make it taste good too, is everything we're trying to do.
It's all about taste for us. There's a lot of products out there that are free from everything, which I get there's a market for that, but that's usually free from taste in many. And we've always been, if it doesn't taste good, I don't care if it's gluten or dairy free. Nobody's going to eat it,
No. So what's it like working together? You guys, like you said, you're together 24/6. So, what is it like?
Well, that means we're not together for a full day. That doesn't work. It's pretty
22/7.
Okay, there we go. 22/7. It's pretty amazing. We complement each other. What's interesting, I think, I think you share this as well, but I've always told myself, and I don't know why, since I can remember, I should never be with somebody who's exactly like me or, type A like me or whatever personality, because we would kill each other. I firmly believe that. And then, Rich and I we're like, I'm the male version of him and he's the female version of me, if that's how you want to look at it. But we're so alike. And it's so wonderful because it's, he sees the world the way I see the world. And it makes working together very, very smooth and pleasant.
And very little. And I think the other thing that works really well too is we have very different skill sets. And that's one of the reasons that we've kind of gotten where we've gotten so far is I have the sales and the marketing and the food background, and Victoria has the marketing, the graphic design, the SEO, all the things that we need on that end. I've got kind of the other end covered. So I think that helps because we're not butting heads trying to work on the same projects and do the same things. She's got her skill set. I've got my skill set. I think it flows really well.
That's fantastic.
We never fight. We never, we disagree sometimes.
Yeah,
but,
totally.
But that's normal, especially when you're running a business. Yeah, we don't, because most people, when you say you work with your spouse, you always almost invariably hear, oh my God, I could never work with my husband or wife. I'd kill them or they'd kill me or something. Yeah, you always hear that. So I'm going to assume that it's not easy to do. I don't know.
No,
but it's easy for us. It's easy for us.
When I see it, I'm so like enamored by it because it could never happen in my world. But when I see it, I just think it's fantastic that you guys can work together.
And for some reason, it doesn't seem to happen that often either.
It doesn't. No.
Most of my friends, if I had to work with my spouse, I couldn't do it.
Right. Yeah. So, well, you've got something going there for sure. So, what are the favorite? And what are your favorite aspects, each of you, on the business? Because, like you said, you both have different strengths. So you must like certain things more as well. So what do you like?
My favorite thing is being out in the field and getting the reaction from people, especially in the food world, from chefs. So many people find chefs intimidating, and for good reasons. I mean, they have a lot of training, they're under a lot of pressure, and quite frankly, most chefs don't like gluten-free. It's a pain in the butt for them to deal with gluten-free in their kitchens, which I totally understand. And to watch them taste, first of all, they have this expectation that it's going to taste like cardboard, and to watch the reaction that you get, and that's where we've had some of our best reactions from some of the best restaurants in Denver.
That's awesome.
Chefs that I've always been enamored with. To have them go, wow, this is really fantastic, even not just for gluten-free, but it's just fantastic pizza crust, which is always great. And I don't know if I'll ever get used to seeing our products in a store on a shelf. I mean, it's so strange to go to our local natural grocers and walk down the aisle on a Saturday morning and do our grocery shopping, and there's our stuff, and to watch people picking up our stuff is
oh, that's the craziest thing is when you see somebody checking out with it. I'm like, oh, this is weird. It's good weird.
I love that. That's so fantastic. It must make you just feel so good inside to know that, places like Whole Foods, places like, does Vitamin Cottage, is it called Vitamin Cottage or Natural Grocers now?
Natural Grocers by Vitamin Cottage.
Yeah. And
if you live here long enough, it's Vitamin Cottage. Yeah, that's what it is. But
they're one and the same.
Yeah. So it just must feel so good to know that they've accepted your products into their stores, because I have heard they're very picky about what goes in their stores.
Yeah, and they take a very hard look at ingredients, so you have to make sure you're using it all organic when you can. Everything has to be non-GMO, and we've worked really hard to get that.
Yeah, Natural Grocers actually looks at your ingredients. We're actually not in Whole Foods, and they're picky, but for different reasons. Where Natural Grocers is picky for the reasons for the consumer to benefit.
Good.
And
good.
That's what makes them. They're such an amazing company to work with, and they were my gluten-free store before we did this. It's like that's where I bought all my gluten-free food, and it meant so much to me to be in there, and we're very thrilled to be in their stores for sure.
Well, I look at your items online. I see when you guys post. I follow you guys and see when you post, and I don't know what gluten-free is supposed to taste like compared to what I eat or what I don't eat. So it all looks absolutely delicious. I don't understand why people say, oh, I can't even taste it, it's gluten-free. What's the difference? I mean, does it taste bland normally, or?
Historically, it has. Almost all gluten-free, in my opinion, bread products or bread-like products. And I take the sweets out of this because it's so easy. It's not so easy. I don't want to discuss. It's much easier to make sweet food out of non-wheat ingredients, and make it taste like you remember. It's still challenging in some cases, but for savory bread products, it's always been a challenge. And most gluten-free is tasted like cardboard. We get it all the time at the demos. It's like, oh yeah, I hope it doesn't taste like cardboard, like blow out this other one. And yeah, so cardboard is synonymous with gluten-free bread products, or it had been. And they lack taste, they lack texture, especially texture.
Okay.
And so our goal with every one of our products is to replicate my memory and to make Rich happy, because Rich doesn't want to ever feel like, oh, I could be eating the real stuff down the street. What am I eating?
Right.
So those are our two goals. And so if you eat bad gluten-free, you'll know it. Yeah.
You'll know
and when good gluten-free, then you'll be like, wait, did I get the wrong meal? And that's what we want to have. That's happened to me. You remember Lala's Wine Bar? Did you ever go to Lala's Wine Bar?
Yes.
They're one of our customers, my favorite place to go. And every time I go there and I take my first bite of pizza, I still have to ask myself, is this really my crust? Because it tastes so good. So and that's the reaction we want everybody to have. And that's where we want to bring gluten-free. The whole industry of gluten-free is take it from the cardboard into good tasting food, and we hope to be doing that.
And we've heard it ourselves in restaurants where people have ordered our gluten-free pizza, and they've actually said to their wait person, oh, I think you made a mistake, this isn't the gluten-free crust.
I love that. Wow.
Yes, that was the goal.
Yep.
Well, it seems like you're accomplishing it. I mean, there's nothing stopping you two, because first of all, you have a love of food, and when you have a love of food, then you have a love of taste. And so when you taste something that's, you got to make it right. You got to make it right. And it looks like you guys are doing that. So what are your greatest challenges running your own business?
I don't think we have enough time to go of running your own business.
There's a ton of, I've been an entrepreneur for 25 years, but this is a new challenge. And, but it's not, the challenges don't equal bad. Sometimes people hear challenges and they go, oh, that's bad.
Right.
We don't say there's a ton of challenges and go, oh my God, I wish we didn't have these challenges, because these challenges is what makes your business and kind of makes you stand out for your competition, because not everybody can make it through these challenges. And it's kind of, life is kind of set up that way, or at least businesses to some degree. And if you can figure these challenges out, then you are a viable company. So we embrace the challenges, we complain about them sometimes, and then we conquer them.
Right.
But I think growth, trying to manage growth. Right now we're at a point, we've done all this on our own. We've hired no outside anything.
Okay.
And to go from being in Colorado, to all the natural grocers in Colorado and 40 restaurants and all that, to get outside of Colorado, that's a huge step, and it's a logistical step, it's a financial step, and so I think that it's a manpower, so we're at that stage right now, trying to find ways to make that happen, and I would call that our biggest challenge, because everything else it's not easy, but we've figured out a lot.
And we're at the point now where we actually have to start to learn to let go a little bit. So, everything to this point has been us. The product development, the selling of the product, the delivering of the product. I mean, the baking of the product. So now as we grow, we're actually going to have to let other people do the baking, because we're going to have to get out there and sell it. We're going to have to go down to Texas and do those things. We're going to have other people doing demos for us. Other people are going to be delivering the product. So I don't know, it feels weird to let go of kind of your baby a little bit.
Kind of scary.
Way we're going to expand.
Right, and we have we have 3 employees now, and they're wonderful, and they believe in us, and we believe in them, and so if we can keep attracting employees like that, then it'll be a lot easier to let go. That's for sure.
Well, and to me, that's where entrepreneurial businesses are going. They're creating a family within their business. And all the corporate stuff that we have worked in is gone down the toilet, because nowadays people want to have a business where they can connect with their employees. It becomes a family, and it's hard to grow, but you're right. If you find the right people, which you will attract, then everything will go just the way you want it to.
For sure. And I think it goes beyond your employees too. I think it goes to the vendors that you work with, the people who supply you your raw ingredients. You want to make sure they're sourcing their products from the right places. You want to make sure they're paying their employees a living wage.
Yes.
The people that do your transportation, the people that are going to sell our products, the restaurants that we work with, are the chefs invested in everything that's going on. So it goes way beyond employees. It goes to everybody that you interact with in the business.
Yeah.
We're doing business a different way. We're doing it on our terms, which I've kind of always done business that way, but doing something this big and this far reaching in that way is interesting and different, and but I think it's a good way to go, because the corporate culture, it doesn't belong anywhere. I mean, I'm not a corporate person, never could be, and it's not empowering. And we want to empower everybody we work with, from our employees to our restaurants to our vendors. I mean, that's the most important thing.
I agree. I think that's absolutely true. And just the connection and with other humans, and having, I love that. That's why I took radio from just voice to faces, because you both look happy. I mean, you look so healthy, Victoria, from, the last, not that you didn't look healthy before, but you're more vibrant. It looks like you found a way to live your life that suits you. And that's fantastic. I'm so extremely happy about that. So what are your long-term goals for the Gluten Free Explorer? If you're just tuning in, we're talking about gluten-free. We're talking about the Gluten Free Explorer with Victoria Wolf and Richard Ouelette. And so don't pass us by if you see us on Facebook Live. Tune in. You're going to learn a lot, and you're going to learn a lot about the products that they are putting out to the world. So tell us, what is your long-term goals?
Well, I think the biggest one is we want to be a national brand.
Okay.
You may have heard of Oudies. The Oudies brand was born here in Denver. Yep. And they're kind of the benchmark, the standard. They kind of created the gluten-free segment. I mean, and so we want to be that. We want to be the next generation of Oudies. We want to be a national brand. We want that national reach. I think that's the ultimate goal. I think in between that one, there's a ton of individual goals and little goals that we want to hit.
Well, the ultimate personal goal is to build the business, to create something that not just Rich and I could benefit from, but my son can benefit from, and our employees can benefit, and then of course the entire gluten-free community can benefit by eating it. And then once that's done, then there's this fifth wheel and a truck and swim.
Traveling the country.
We're going gluten free for a little while. We'll see in a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to be a swim.
Trip. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
We're taking a road trip and we're not coming back.
Yeah. And what we really want to do, we want to be a national brand, but Rich and I want to travel the country and demo our product around the country at the stores. And I mean, we just think that would be so cool, and just go. We love to cook for people. We love to serve and feed people. And if that could be our role in the company someday as ambassadors, first and foremost, that would make us very, very happy.
And then the other thing I think we'd love to do is really show other up-and-comers and entrepreneurs. I mean, I would love if someday somebody said they want to be the next Gluten Free Explorer, because ultimately somebody's always going to come out and one up you and do that, come out with the next big thing. And so if we can make our mark now to then help the people that are the next generation come up and kind of share all the experiences, good and bad, that we had. I think that's, kind of consultants for people that are coming out with the next new generation of product.
Yeah, because we've learned so much so far. I can only imagine how much more we're going to learn as we move forward, and that's valuable information that needs to be shared, because I mean, it did us good. It should do someone else good as well.
Right.
Yes, and sharing is knowledge, and you're right to share. Some people don't like to share, and they like to hold on to everything, and that gets no one anywhere. So to be able to network and share what you know and learn from other people too, that's a really amazing thing. I mean, only businesses can get better that do that. I mean, there's no other way to go. So,
and I feel we'd be silly to think that we were going to be the best of the best from now till eternity. I mean, we know that, our time is a finite amount of space till somebody comes out with the next big thing.
Right.
So, rather than fight that, let's embrace that.
Right. And at least you're part of the whole. That is the great thing, is that you're part of the whole, and what you know and what you've learned is huge knowledge to someone else coming in and trying to do the same thing. So it's worth something. It's worth something. I can tell you this. I don't even want to ask this question.
Then don't.
I don't think I'm going to, Victoria. I'm not asking it.
Okay, don't ask it.
I'm not gonna ask about failing and succeeding, because I don't see it in your future. I don't see you two even hearing the word. So I'm not going to ask it. But what I am going to ask is, what is the legacy that you guys want to leave behind?
Wow, that's deep.
You can look at.
I know for myself, I've always wanted to leave something behind. I've known that since I was a kid. I feel like I have so much to share and so much to do in this life, and somebody needs to benefit from my life and what I've gone through and what I've learned. And if there's one person whose life has changed because they saw what I did or heard me speak or saw me cook or whatever, that makes me happy. And closer to home, I mean, a lot of this is for my son too, I guess our son, and I want him to have the things that I want him to have in life. I want him to see us working hard and see that if you really do what your heart is set on, you can make it, and you can be whatever you want to be in this world. You just have to know what it is and have support along the way.
Or sometimes you don't have to know what it is.
That's true. You just go in a direction.
Right. You just head in a direction, and
I guess.
I mean, who knew this was going to happen? Who knew this was going to happen?
I guess that's my bigger point, is we didn't know exactly where this was going to end, or it's not even ended, but where it's led us by just making pizza crusts in our home kitchen.
We were just open to the journey, and I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you get in your car and you just drive. You don't have a destination. You don't have anything, and
Nope.
that's what life really is. You can't be so hell bent on I'm going to go here, here, and here, and then I'm going to go here, because it never works out.
Right.
It's just so much easier just to get in the car and go, and wherever you are.
Exactly.
Which
I agree. I agree 100%. And it's great that your son, in these days and times, it is great that your son sees that you're working hard and that you're not giving up and that no one's handed this to you on a silver platter. You've actually worked your asses off to get it.
Right.
And you know what? That is a powerful thing for a kid to see, especially nowadays.
Oh, for sure. And he works in the business
he works
too.
In the kitchen, doing dishes.
Great.
Yeah, sweeping the floor in the warehouse, and we have been doing that.
When he has days off at school this summer, he's going to work more, and he's only 13, but we're making him start to save for his car, so he's got to work this summer. And he works really hard. That's probably one of our greatest achievements, I think, is instilling a work ethic and seeing him be excited. He loves to go do demos. We've done a couple events at Holidaily Brewery. I don't know if you know.
Yes, I've heard of it. Yep.
And he was our server. I mean, we were selling pizzas, and so he did it all. I mean, he went and he took the order. He had the iPad. He ran the credit card. He gave him back the order. He was fantastic. 13 years old, fantastic at it. And it just warms my heart to see that.
Well, it makes you feel proud. It makes you feel like you're doing something right. It's a good thing.
Screw him up that bad, yeah.
Exactly. Okay.
So good.
I know. So far, so good. I mean, that's always what we say as parents. Oh my gosh, so far, so good. Because tomorrow could change. You just never know. But so, in closing, first of all, I want to just say I am so extremely proud of you both. I mean, it just does my heart good to see fellow Coloradans just making a difference and, looking at a certain issue that you have, gluten-free, that you need to be gluten-free, and just taking it and making it something not just for yourself, but for other people. I love that. And not just keeping it in this little tight place where no one else can get it. So on my website, Kathy/bacon.com, I put your information on there. So tell the audience how they can get a hold of you, where your products are, and all of that, because I'm going to put that all on my website so people can go back and see it as well. In case they missed you or anything, which they won't, because it is on Facebook Live. I will put it on, I'll share a link with you, and hopefully people will have a look, because this has been very informative. Even for me, I don't have a problem with gluten, but I didn't know that it tasted like cardboard before you guys came along. I mean, who would know that? And what gluten-free actually is, because I think some people waffle back and forth. I've heard it over and over again, like, oh, I'm gluten-free. What does that mean exactly? What does that mean? Oh, I got a stomachache if I eat that. Oh, okay. But, if you can find a gluten-free product that tastes good and your stomach feels good, geez, that's amazing.
That's all you need.
Yeah. So tell us where your products are distributed at this point in time.
Okay, we are, our products are in just about every natural grocers in the Front Range. Lucky's and Alfalfa's in Longmont, Louisville, and Boulder. We're in about 40 restaurants in the Denver metro area, and there's a page on the website with all the restaurants and a page with all the grocery stores saying which of our 5 products are in which store, which mostly all of them. And we have online sales. You can buy anything online and ship anywhere in the country.
Oh, fantastic.
Free shipping when you buy $50 or more. And and our products are also in the Windy City in San Mateo, California, Windy City Pizza, and soon to be Joe's Brooklyn Pizza in Rochester, New York.
I love
We're
it.
excited about that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So kind of.
What is your website? www.
Glutenfreeexplorer.com.
Glutenfreeexplorer.com. if there was an email, can they contact you through that? Or is there an email that you're willing to give out to people that maybe would like to connect with you, or maybe they're
Victoria@glutenfreeexplorer.com.
Or you can reach out to me too, Rich at glutenfreeexplorer.com.
both of you are at glutenfreeexplorer.com.
Exactly.
It's really been lovely. I'm so glad to see you again and see what you've accomplished.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad to meet you, Richard. You guys
Thanks.
are,
I really appreciate it.
yeah, you guys are, you're really getting yourselves out there and showing people that all you have to do is want something bad enough, and you can get it if you work hard. And I'm of that generation. So it just does my heart good to see it. And I just really, really want to thank you for your time this evening, because you're in Denver, everyone, just in case you didn't know that. And it's nighttime, and I'm in Thailand, which is 10:45. So in the morning.
Lunchtime for you.
In the morning, it's almost lunchtime. That's right. So thank you again.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
I just can't tell you how great it was to see you. So goodbye, everybody. Come back next week, 8:00 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We're going on that now because I do have a lot of guests from Denver coming up. And just come on Facebook Live. You can find us here. So we are going to say goodbye to Facebook now. I'm going to stop the broadcast. Bye, everybody.
Bye.